Welcome back to Ryan and Ryan here on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
And I'm Ryan Risky.
And, we pulled up a couple statemements from
the Tom Thibodeau firing,
from the Tom Thibodeau
we did
firing.
not agree with.
One is the Tom Thibodeau statement, and the other one is Jerry Reinsdorf's statement on Tom Thibodeau because these weren't like publicized statements necessarily. These all we heard, in that press conference was what Gar Forman had to say and what John Paxson had to say, which we don't care about. So here's what Tom Thibodeau had to say about his departure. I want to thank and will deeply miss our incredible fans in the entire city of Chicago. I also want to thank my staff and all of the talented players and their wonderful families who have honored me and the Bulls by their effort, love, dedication, and professionalism. I appreciate the opportunity that Jerry Reinsdorf gave me. We are proud of our accomplishments, fought through adversity, tried to give our fans the full commitment to excellence they deserve. I love this game, and I am excited about what's ahead for me with USA Basketball and the next coaching opportunity in the NBA. Tom Thibodeau. So that's what he said.
Good job. Gar and Pax didn't deserve to be in a positive way in his statement.
I love how he didn't include them.
They didn't deserve to be.
It's funny though that they didn't include them. It's a funny thing that they didn't include that he didn't include them either, because that really tells you how much they hate each other.
Yeah, no one really thought it was that bad.
No one really made a big deal. It's like a couple weeks ago, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, there might be a little feud here, a little feud there," but no, this was a big deal, and
they hated
and
each
it
other.
Costed having the second or third best coach in the NBA being fired from a pretty good team, a competitive team, a second round exit.
Yeah, think about all the guys that probably won't be as good next year because Tom Thibodeau's gone.
Right.
Because think about all these.
Josh Gibson won't be nearly as good.
I
know that.
Probably not. Powell won't be as good.
Jimmy Butler won't be scoring like he's scoring.
Yeah, no. I doubt he'll be playing defense that way. Even a lot of the guys that the Bulls signed or drafted, Tom Thibodeau developed them, and they were that good because of Tom Thibodeau unlocking defensive potential. He knows good rebounding techniques.
Right.
And they won't be having that with Fred Hoiberg.
No, it's sort of sad. I don't want them to hire Fred Hoiberg. I know I've said it before, but I'm going to keep saying it until it happens. I really don't want them to do that, and I hope they don't.
That would be kind of like the Bears hiring Mark Trestman.
It's just sort of the complete opposite way. Well, another option for Tom Thibodeau, if he doesn't, take a job with the Lakers, Hornets, Cavaliers, possibly, or the Timberwolves or something like that, he could just, coach USA Basketball in the summer or whatever. And
he is making $9 million a year. I'm sure someone will give him more money.
Right. And he could just, sit back for a year, enjoy basketball, and then go back to coaching in 2016 and late 2016, 2017.
Right. I'm sure that, that's kind of be his decision, because I'm sure Orlando or New Orleans will make sure to give him a huge contract, make him one of the highest paid coaches.
Right. All right, moving on to Jerry Reinsdorf's comments on the situation. His were a little longer. He had... I
think his was 292 words.
Yeah. All right, are you ready to count them with me? Okay. The Chicago Bulls have a history of achieving great success on and off the court. These accomplishments have been possible because of an organizational culture where input from all parts of the organization has been welcomed and valued. There has been a willingness to participate in free flow of information, and there have been clear and consistent goals. While the head of each department of the organization must be free to make final decisions regarding his or her department, there must be free and open interdepartmental discussion and consideration of everyone's ideas and opinions. These internal discussions must not be considered an invasion of turf and must remain private. God, this doesn't make any sense so far. It's like a bunch of words jumbled up together to make it sound smart. Teams that consistently perform at the highest levels are able to come together and be unified across the organization and staff, players, coaches, management, and ownership. When everyone is on the same page, trust develops and teams can grow and succeed together. Unfortunately, there has been a departure from this culture. To ensure that the Chicago Bulls can continue to grow and succeed, we have decided that a change in the head coaching position is required. Days like today are difficult but necessary for us to achieve our goals and fulfill our commitments to our fans. I appreciate the contributions that Tom Thibodeau made to the Bulls organization. I have always respected his love for the game, and I wish him well in the future. When Tom was hired in 2010, he was our right team. He was right for our team and system at that time. And over the last 5 years, we have had some success with Tom as our head coach. Which, if you would have hired another coach, you wouldn't have nearly as much success. But as we looked ahead and evaluated how we, as a team and an organization, could continue to grow and improve, we believe a change in approach was needed. So that's Jerry Reinsdorf.
Yeah, it's like he's ignoring the success that Tom Thibodeau had.
Right, and in the beginning, his statement didn't make any sense. He's like, oh, we need to be unified together and blah, 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 and grow and succeed and all that. You know, it didn't make much sense. It just seemed like he was writing a statement just to make one.
Right.
Because he had to make one.
It's confusing because it's like Gar and Pax and Jerry Reinsdorf are pretending like the Tom Thibodeau era was a failed experiment. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. No, this was the second best era of Bulls basketball, and they're ignoring it and thinking that, oh, Fred Hoiberg's the answer. No, he's not. Jerry Reinsdorf, Gar Forman, and John Paxson. If you think that, you should all be fired. Reinsdorf should be just removed from the team owner.
I'm not quite sure where this idea that Fred Hoiberg is some really world-renowned coach. I'm not quite sure where that idea even came from. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, where does that come from?
Yeah, where did that even come from? Like, who just decided? What, did they pick his name out of a hat?
Well, and college coaches coaching in the NBA, I mean, it rarely ever works out. You know, it might work out with Brad Stevens and the Boston Celtics, but we don't know that.
Because he has a good defensive system.
Yeah, well, and he is a really good coach. He was pretty much the best coach in college basketball. He was one of the best. You know, I never hear Fred Hoiberg's name as one of the best even college coaches. So
no, like I mean, the only thing I could think of is they pulled his name out of a hat and said, "This is our guy."
Well, and maybe there's a connection between that because I mean, Tim Floyd was also an Iowa State head coach, and then he coached the Bulls. I think that was right after Phil Jackson. So I mean, now you're sort of in the same situation. Phil Jackson leaves, Tim Floyd comes, and then you're bad for like 6 years.
I mean,
and now
yeah.
Tom Thibodeau comes and leaves, and now Fred Hoiberg's here, and the Bulls will be bad for like another 6 years.
I mean, it almost sounds like that Jerry Reinsdorf is expecting 6 more championships from Tom Thibodeau with the roster that they have, given the teams that they'll have to beat. I mean, there's a lot of teams.
You never will beat LeBron James like that. It's too hard.
Right, and the thing is, with Tom Thibodeau as the coach, they had a chance to do it. I mean,
and they would have done it at least once.
I mean, he's acting like it's Thibodeau's fault they didn't win. Well, part of the problem
Derrick Rose's fault.
Yeah, really. Probably Derrick Rose probably would deserve the most blame for missing 3 consecutive postseasons, and also throwing the fact that.
I mean, even now,
throwing
they had a chance to win now, but there was even conflict.
Except Powell missed the last 2 games,
right?
Too.
And besides the conflict between Tom Thibodeau and the management, there was conflict, within the roster with Derrick Rose and Jimmy Butler on who was going to be a leader. So it's stupid.
Derrick Rose to me does not look like a team leader.
Not anymore.
I don't think he doesn't look like he's like an outspoken enough kind of guy.
No, although Jimmy Butler doesn't seem like that either.
He seems more of it to like Derrick Rose. I mean, because Derrick Rose isn't smart.
No, he isn't. Smart.
Everyone knows he's just not smart.
Someone took his ACT for him. He got into Memphis, played a year, and then went to the NBA.
Yeah, and now no one really cares about that.
Nope.
Or if it was anyone else, they probably would be getting prosecuted or something. I don't know. Probably
well, and that was like a year or 2 before they changed the rule where you have to go to college for 1 year. I mean, Derrick Rose, if he wanted to, could have entered the NBA draft right out of high school, but he didn't.
Yeah, I mean, now they need to change that to 2 years because a lot of guys that are coming...
Yeah, I say 2 or not at all.
Like, a lot of times, now you're just seeing guys who are one and done at college come into the NBA and don't play well.
Right. Well, I think the rule should either be you're required to play 2 years in college, because I think 2 years is a huge difference from 1 year, and or you go back to the rule where you can just enter right from high school. Because it's stupid to go 1 year, because that 1 year they're not even caring about the education for that 1 year.
No, they'll just get passed.
Right. They just want to play basketball for 1 year in college. But I mean, what does that do? I mean, that doesn't even help the college landscape.
No, it's like, oh, here's the answers to this test so that you can play in the game tonight.
Right. I don't like that. So, hopefully that changes too. But, yeah, those were the statements about on the departure of Tom Thibodeau from Thibs and from Jerry Reinsdorf.
And even Gar Forman and John Paxson yesterday never even thanked Thibs. They were acting like that the Bulls were bad every year. No, Tom Thibodeau was one of the best coaches in the NBA, and you just fired him because you didn't like him.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back, and we'll look at the pitching matchups for today's baseball games. The Cubs are the only afternoon game, so that's exciting.
Shocker.
It usually happens on Friday home games. So, yeah, stick around to the Ryan and Ryan Power Hour here on SportsTownChicago.com. The Ryan and Ryan Power Hour podcast on SportsTownChicago.com.